shotgun on 2nd and 7. Wide to the left. As Kaepernick on him back. Look out. And he's picked up by Arthur Jones. A fumble recovery and now a sack for Jones and a loss of 6.
All of the lights on the 49ers side of the Superdome are out.
This is Steve Tasker, sideline reporter for the Super Bowl 47. If you're expecting to hear our friend Jim Nantz, maybe a moment before he gets on, half the power in New Orleans Stadium, the Superdome here, is out. In almost a perfect semicircle of the lights, half the stadium stayed light, half of it went out. The scoreboard is also not working as well. Moments ago, as we watched the game start to proceed pretty much as normal, now it's well lit, there's no danger, no one's injured or of any kind, but obviously the players are milling around, and we've got a lot of officials running around wanting to get this game back on. We will step away for a moment, and we will continue our coverage of Super Bowl 47 right after this.
I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, why is the clock stop?
Iron Man 3.
Why is the clock stop? It didn't like stop. Like,
Look at Iron Man 3.
20-minute delay.
Coca-Cola.
20 minutes?
Hey, I'm reminded of that Motown song. There ain't no mountain high enough, and there ain't no valley low enough, and there is nothing that's gonna keep us from winning this championship. Not this and not nothing. We're gonna win this game no matter how long it takes.
How the hell does this happen? It's just insane.
Well, the Super Bowl's over. The Chiefs won again. Taylor Swift in her multiple tours back and forth between the intergalactic theatre of Earth, because of course her new boyfriend has to be the Chiefs' superstar tight end. That's how season 2023 ended. The book is closed. So now's the perfect time to dig out what happened during the Super Bowl just 11 years before this one. This one doesn't have the fancy name of the Taylor Swift Bowl or the Greatest Backflip Bowl. It does have the moniker, however, of the Blackout Bowl. So all this went down during Super Bowl XLVII, which is 47 in Roman numerals. I'm not going to get into the conferences. There's the American conference where half the teams are and the national conference where the other half of the teams are. It used to be that only American conference teams would play each other and the national conference teams would play each other, but that's all been tossed out the window many, many years ago. Don't get caught up in that. All that stuff's pretty much in name only, at least during the regular season. The playoffs, or the finals, is then split up into the American Conference and the National Conference, which are the 6 best teams, or the 6 highest scoring teams from each of them. And during the 2012 NFL season, the winners of the American Conference were the Baltimore Ravens, and the winners of the National Conference were the San Francisco 49ers. So here was the lineup for Super Bowl 47. This is the Baltimore Ravens lineup, and this was the lineup for the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, yeah, the guy in the quarterback spot for the 49ers? Yep, that's Colin Kaepernick. I should probably mention that this was a full 3 years before he started kneeling during the national anthem. Back then, he was just a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He was still pretty new to the sport. He didn't even really play football until college. And here he was, just 2 years out of college. And he wasn't even really supposed to be the starting quarterback for the 49ers. Their main quarterback, Alex Smith, suffered a concussion halfway through the season, so had to turn to someone in their quarterback lineup. Yes, I'm also aware that the 2012 season had a numerous amounts of controversies, regarding umpires, regarding, team funding. The stage was set for a bad Super Bowl, especially not for Kaepernick and co., because Michael Oher and his Baltimore Ravens, by the second half, were beating the 49ers 21-3.
Super Bowl 47 on CBS Sports is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of Super Bowl 47. Here we go. Skechers Relax Fit Shoes, what Joe Montana wears for comfort.
Back at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, 7th time the big game has been contested inside here, 10th time overall in this great city. First 3 occasions out at the old Tulane Stadium. On first down, Kaepernick with a drop back, with a throwing, middle of the field, and he's intercepted. He gets his time a postseason record for most interceptions as the New Orleans native has the pick and the flag is out. Well, I tell you, it's getting ugly out here.
But that's okay, because if there's one half, that means there's a second half. Maybe the 49ers will do better in the second half.
This is Steve Tasker, sideline reporter for the Super Bowl 47. If you're expecting to hear our friend Jim Nantz, maybe a moment before he gets on, half the power in New Orleans Stadium, the Superdome here, is out.
Now, there's about 60 minutes of total play time for pretty much every NFL game. 60 divided by 4 is 15. So the Superdome could only make it a minute and a half plus some change into the second quarter before all the lights just completely went out.
So we took that out, put it up there so that I could see it and that everybody else saw it. All right, we lost lights. All right. We're going to a manual override. Okay.
Well, that sucks, doesn't it? The halftime show, featuring Beyonce, which was, it was pretty damn good, lasted about 15 minutes. All players were ready to go back out, and now we've got to wait again. So now everyone has to wait even longer to finally start the second quarter of the Super Bowl. Well, if you look at the players here, some are stretching, some are not stretching. The referees, they're just huddled in a corner, not mic'd up, talking about stuff. Well, the Baltimore Ravens coach here, you see, he is one of 2 brothers coaching a game in the Super Bowl. I think this was like the first ever Super Bowl, or even hell, one of the first major sports to have 2 brothers coach, both teams fighting for the championship. And boy, was he pumped during the blackout. He was giving all his players a pep talk. He was reminded of that one song in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low. Yeah, that one? Well, this was an actual year before Guardians of the Galaxy came out, so Harbaugh, he was a trailblazer in that regard. If a song that he mentioned can become popular again just 1 year later, then his Baltimore Ravens can overcome any adversity. And then he just went back to talking with, his staff, because, well, the lights weren't coming back on. Oh, and also, the main commentators lost all power to their little unit too. But, however, the 4 analysts they had, which were all former NFL players, they were live. Before the blackouts happen, their job is to usually talk about the game in between breaks. And so now they have to talk about the game, a game that isn't happening because the power was out. The same game they were talking about during the halftime show. And now they've got nothing to talk about because they spent the previous hour talking about the game, and the third quarter only went for like nearly 2 minutes before the power went out. So
Dan, news came out this week that you fathered a child in an extramarital affair.
Oh, come on! We agreed that was off limits.
That was before, Dan Marino.
Come on!
This is a new world now.
So if we take a look at this image here, it seems that only half of the Superdome had their lights shut out. Well, the answer is the Superdome did have some backup lights. I'm running on an emergency generator, but of course the lights that were on were enough to illuminate the whole stadium, so play had to be stopped. Joe Flacco said that there was enough light to illuminate the whole stadium, but he was complaining about the clock stopping. So if the clock stopped, then that means that more than just half of the lights went out. So if a breaker got tripped somewhere, it wasn't as simple as just switching power back on, because there was more power out to other things, including the clock and an elevator that people were inside of at the time of the power outage. I mean, okay, you could say that a Super Bowl is more important, and yeah, you know, fair enough, but obviously the people running the Superdome were obviously trying to get the power back on, but they couldn't, which means it wasn't just like, you know, a breaker setting off. So for something to trigger all the lights going out, the main clock keeping time with the Super Bowl stopping, and all the elevators being shut down, what actually happened? The Superdome never had any power problems before, well, apart from Hurricane Katrina. But of course, to prepare for the biggest event it has ever hosted, I mean, companies pay billions just to air one commercial during the Super Bowl. Both the people who ran the Super Bowl and the electrical company they get all the energy from decided to upgrade the electrical systems in the Super Bowl just before, you know, the Super Bowl actually happened. I have no idea what they did. I don't have any kind of STEM degree in anything whatsoever. I failed all my math classes. But the problem did have something to do with one of the breaker systems they had just installed. But from what I can gather, it wasn't actually a case of the breaker tripping and doing its job to prevent, electrical equipment being damaged, a fire due to a surge, occurring. It turns out that I think one of the breakers was tripped prematurely. One of the many breakers and switch gears that was installed in the Superdome to, control electricity, control the flow of it, make sure nothing gets damaged. So nothing actually got damaged during the blackout. It's just that one of the many surge or power problem fail-safes they installed didn't actually work correctly and was set off prematurely. That seems to be why it took a full 34 minutes to get the power back on, and to, of course, rescue the people trapped in the elevator, and to get the clock working again, and to get the main commentators back online again. And so from this additional 34-minute break prior to the 15-minute break that both the Ravens and the 49ers got, it was finally time to play the Super Bowl again.
All right, let's check upstairs with the game announcers, Jim Nance and Phil Simms.
All right, thank you, JB. We lost all power up here at the press box level. Hey, the next time you decide to plug in your phone charger, give us a warning, will you?
Yeah, but okay. I was doing some of my best work during that blackout.
Yeah.
So.
But oh, did Kaepernick and the rest of the 49ers need to start scoring now, because by the time play resumed, the score was 28-6, Baltimore's way.
From the 31. And Kaepernick again. Zips it in. Crabtree still on his feet. And for the touchdown. Bounced off of 2 hits. And the Niners find the end zone for the first time tonight. The third quarter that began with Jones returning the kick 108 yards for a touchdown. And then that outage, followed by the 49ers coming to life after the delay. 17-0 stretch.
Whatever mysterious force/person who made all the power systems go faulty at the Superdome should be paid a hell of a lot by the 49ers, because that is exactly what they needed. Because by the time the third quarter ended, the score was Baltimore still stuck at 28 and San Francisco 23. All Kaepernick and crew needed to do to bring Michael Oher down was to carry that form into the fourth quarter.
Special teams coverage out of Denver with a kick return and a punt return for touchdowns by Trendon Holiday. And he booms this one. That takes the Bearcats free kick out of play. And it's in. Yeah, to the 40. Have won it. 44-31. The Super Bowl belongs to Baltimore.
Well, Jim Harbaugh and Colin Kaepernick, I guess there's always a next time. Maybe not in 2013, maybe not this year, but there's a next time.